Shri Sai Satcharitra, Chapter 37, Chavadi procession. In this chapter, Hemad Pant, after making some preliminary observations on some points of Vedanta, describes the Chavadi procession. Preliminary. Blessed is Sai's life, blessed is his daily routine. His ways and action are indescribable. Sometimes he was intoxicated with Brahmanan, that is, divine joy, and at other times content with self knowledge. Doing so many things, sometimes he was unconcerned with them. Though he seemed at times quite actionless, like doing nothing, he was not idle or dozing. He always abided in his own self. Though he looked calm and quiet as the placid sea, he was deep and unfathomable. Who can describe his ineffable nature? He regarded men as brothers, women as sisters and mothers. He was a perfect and perpetual celibate, as everybody knows. May the understanding knowledge we got in his company last long till death. Let us ever serve him with wholehearted devotion to his feet. Let us see him, God, in all beings, and let us ever love his name. Hemad Pant, after making some lengthy dissertation on some topics of Vedanta, which he himself considers as a digression, goes on to describe the Chavadi procession. Chavadi procession. Baba's dormitory has been already described. One day he slept in the masjid and on the next in the Chavadi, a small building containing a room or a two near the masjid. This alternate sleeping in both this building went on till Baba's Mahasamadhi. From 10th December 1909, devotees began to offer regular worship to Baba in Chavadi. This will now describe with his grace. When the turn of retiring to Chavadi came, people flocked to the masjid and made bhajan in courtyard for few hours. Behind them was a beautiful ratha, that is small car, to the right a Tulsi Vrindavan, and in front Baba, and between these the devotees fond of bhajan. Men and women who had a liking for the bhajan came in time. Some took tal, chiplis, and kartal, mridang, kanjari, and gol, that is musical instruments, in their hands and conducted the bhajans. Sai Baba was the magnet who drew all the devotees to him there. Outside in the open, some trimmed their torches, some decorated the palanquin, some stood with a cane stick in their hands and uttered victory to Baba. The corner was decorated with buntings. Round about the masjid, rows of burning lamps shed their light. Baba's horse, Shamakarna, stood fully decorated outside. Then Tatya Patil came with a party of men to Baba and asked him to be ready. Baba sat quiet in his place till Tatya came and helped him to get up by putting his arm under Baba's armpit. Tatya called Baba by the name of Mama. Really, their relationship was extremely intimate. Baba wore on his body the usual kafni, took his satka, a short stick, under his armpit, and after taking his chilim, that is tobacco pipe and tobacco, and placing a cloth over his shoulder, became ready to start. Then Tatya put a golden embroidered beautiful shawl over his body. After this, Baba, moving a little the bundle of fuel sticks lying behind with his right toe, and then extinguishing the burning lamp with his right hand, and started for the Chavdi. Then all sorts of musical instruments, band and horns and mridang gave out their different sounds, and fireworks exhibited their different and various colored waves. Men and women singing Baba's name started walking, making bhajans to the accompaniment of musical instruments. Some danced with joy, some carried various flags and standards. The men announced Baba's name. Then he came on the steps of the masjid. On the two sides of Baba stood persons who held big hand fans and fanned Baba. On the way were spread fold of cloth on which Baba walked on, being supported by devotee's hand. Tatya Patil held the left hand and Malsapati the right, and Bapu Sahib Jog held the decorative umbrella over his head. In this fashion, Baba marched on to the Chavadi. The fully decorated red horse named Shamakarna led the way, and behind him were all the carriers, waiters, musical players, and crowd of devotees. Harinama, the name of the Lord, chanted to the accompaniment of music which reached the sky, as also the name of Sai. In this manner, the procession reached the corner when all the persons that joined the party seemed well pleased and delighted. On coming to this corner, Baba stood facing the Chavadi and shone with a peculiar lustre. It seemed as if the face of the Baba glittered like a glory of rising sun. Baba stood there with a concentrated mind facing the north as if he was calling somebody. All the instruments played their music while Baba moved his right arm up and down for some time. Kaka Sahib Dikshit at this time came forward with a silver plate containing flowers besmeared with gulal, red powder, and threw them on the Baba's body off and on. The musical instruments played their best at this juncture, and Baba's face beamed with steady and added radiance and beauty. All the persons drank this lustre to their heart's content. Words fail to describe the scene and splendor of this occasion. Sometimes Malsapati began to dance, being possessed or obsessed by some deity. But all were surprised to see that Baba's concentration was not in the least disturbed. With a lamp in his hand, Tatya Patil walked on Baba's left side and Bhagat Malsapati on the right, holding with his hand and hem of Baba's garment. What a beautiful procession and what an expression of devotion! To witness this, men and women, poor and rich, flocked together there. Baba walked very slow. Devotees followed on both sides with love and devotion. With joy pervading the whole atmosphere of the place, the procession reached the Chavadi. That scene and those days are gone now. Nobody can see them now or in the future. Still, remembering and visualizing that scene and sight, we can bring solace and comfort to our minds. The Chavadi was also fully decorated with a good white ceiling, mirrors, and many sorts of lamps. On reaching it, Tatya went ahead and spread an asan and placing a bolster made Baba sit there and made him wear good angaraksha, that is coat. Then the devotees worshipped him in a various way. They put on his head a mukut crown with a tuft above, placed garland of flowers and jewels around his neck, and marking his forehead with musk mixed vertical lines and a dot. They stared at him for a long to their heart's content. They changed his headdress now and then and held it aloft on the head, fearing that Baba might throw it away. Baba knew the heart of them all and meekly submitted to all their methods without objection. With these decorations, he looked wonderfully beautiful. Nana Sahib Nimonkar held the umbrella with its beautiful pendants, which moved in circle with its supporting stick. Bapu Sahib Chok washed the feet of Baba in a silver dish and offered arghya and worshipped with due formalities. Then besmeared his arms with sandal paste, and offered tambul, that is, betel leaves. Baba sat on the asan, while Tatya and others kept standing and falling at his feet. When Baba sat on asan, supporting himself against the bolster, devotees on both sides waved chamar and fans. Shama then prepared the chilim and handed it over to Tatya, who drew a flame out of it by his breath and then gave it to Baba. After Baba had his smoke, it was given to Bhagat Malsapati and then it was passed around to all. Blessed was the inanimate chilim. It had first undergo with many ordeals of penance, such as being treated by potmakers, dried in a open sun, and burned in fire, and then it had the good fortune to get a contact of Baba's hand and his kiss. After this function was over, devotees put garlands of flowers on his neck and gave him bunches of flowers for smelling. Baba, who was dispassion or non attachment incarnate, not cared for all these necklaces of jewels and garlands of flowers and other decorations, but out of real love to his devotees, he allowed them to have their own way and to please themselves. Finally, Bapu Sahib Jog waved the arti over Baba. Observing all formalities, the musical instrument playing their auspicious tunes. When this arti was over, the devotees returned home one by one, saluting Baba and taking his leave. When Tatya Patil, after offering chilim, attar, and rose water, got up to depart, Baba said to him lovingly, "Go if you like, but return sometimes at night and enquire after me." Replying in return, affirmative, Tatya left the Chavdi and went home. Then Baba himself prepared his bed. He arranged 50 to 60 white chaddars, one upon another, thus making his bed, went to rest. We shall also now take rest and close this chapter with a request to the readers that they should remember Sai Baba and his Chavdi procession daily before they retire and go to bed. Bow to Shri Sai, peace to be all. Shri Sai Pranam.